So this year in the middle school, we started meeting in clubs.
Middle school clubs are something that I myself have been talking about since when I was in the role of Dean of Students. And this year we had to change the schedule. We opened up this new time slot for us and it just seemed to work.
So we meet once a week on Thursdays for 45 minutes.
Well, there was a lot of clubs to choose from. You had the Science and Rocketry Club. Oh, and in the Science Club, they launched a rocket actually. It was really cool.
We really focused on the science behind the rockets, and first we started with the nose and trying to build the most efficient and aerodynamic noses, and then we went to more the body and how you can center it, and then by the end we really had a full understanding of how the rocket works, to the point where we could actually build our own rocket.
What we're going to do in this club is pretty much hands-on, okay? So every class you're going to be coming in and working on something, okay? And we're going to be building.
We've got some amazing parents in our community that do some incredible things.
We had Mr. Wisnowski, who's a 9th grade parent. He really brought his knowledge of how rockets work and how the physics behind it, and he showed us some of the videos and of projects that he's been working on.
Everybody's been able to, get to know each other because they're 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade. You can be in a club with all 3 of those grades. And everybody can get to know each other, and I think that it's something new that can make people curious about other topics.
We're really proud of what's kind of coming out of it. We have one student who actually has proposed a club. He went and wrote the proposal for himself, found an advisor. Now he's writing up a budget and getting ready to submit that request, and it's to build computers.
First you have to have the idea, of course, and from there you have to find legitimate reasons as to why you would want the club to be formed, and then you write up a proposal, and
that's kind of the things that we're really excited that are coming out of it. That was our hopes, for kids to be able to find time together, similar interests with other adults in the community, their peers, and be right here during the school day and be able to pursue those interests.
Advanced Technology Club is essentially a club to further your skills with a computer or with any device really. It's really important, especially in your future, that you're able to carry out an idea, because in life it's really not enough to have an idea. You have to be able to execute it.
So we went to the UN trip in November 21st, and we learned a lot about how the international states work together to provide human rights and foster freedoms.
Well, I heard of the UN before, but I never really studied it or learned about it.
So for us to be there, I think that made it a little bit more real for the kids. I mean, they knew the basics about the United Nations. I mean, we watched a couple of videos that the United Nations put out. We did a little bit of reading. We explored some of their websites, just trying to learn the basics about the United Nations and how it fit into a world vision for making the world a better place.
And our world geography teacher taught us all about what the UN does, and I found out about a lot of countries that I never knew existed. And I just found out all the stuff that's going on in the world.
Why do we study world geography? Because we want the world to be a better place for everybody, and it's not easy. And so it's interesting talking about how do you get countries of the world to cooperate together.
So in our geography class, we learned a lot about the Millennium Development Goals.
And this is the UN in 2000 deciding that there's some things that they want to accomplish, 8 things by 2015. So here we are, 2014, and where are we? Are we going to solve them? So kids worked in pairs to explore a goal, figure out what they were trying to accomplish, figure out what the successes had been so far, figure out what the real challenges had been.
So the one I did was empower women and create equality rights. And in this goal, they're trying to make sure that the women have the equal power as men and have the same rights and get an education.
And they sort of began to see that all those goals are interconnected.
That helps us a lot to learn about other places in the world and what is going on so we can help them.
We also decide, well, what are we going to do to make a difference? Because if we know this about the world, is there anything we can do as 6th graders? So it was good. We played a lot of a game. There's a website that the UN runs. It's by the World Food Program, and it's called Free Rice.
It's about geography, and when we get a question right, we would donate 10 grains of rice to people who need it.
They answered enough questions to get over 500,000 grains of rice.
So we're doing American Studies in 8th grade, and Mr. Hollers decided that on November 11th, since it's Veterans Day and we're so close to Arlington National Cemetery, that we should take advantage of this and go to see like President Obama speak and so many other leaders speak.
I really did not know much about Veterans Day before I went on the trip, and when I went on the trip, I realized like how many people actually served and died for this country.
The Arlington National Cemetery trip came about really because of a passion that I have for veterans. I just wanted to take it a step further with our 8th graders to bring service to life for them. You know, it's one thing to talk about it in class. When you're standing on the grounds of Arlington, it makes a much greater impression.
So when we got there, we sat in the amphitheater and we watched the ceremony, which had tons of people speaking about what it means to them. And then we were also given like an interesting assignment to interview a veteran. We interviewed them and just learned a lot about what it's like and being away from your family.
We interviewed veterans from Afghanistan and Iraq going all the way back to World War II.
My veteran was currently like serving still in the Navy.
They told stories from basic training all the way through to what specific jobs they did in the service. And it was great for our students to hear that these veterans would do it again. It's one of the proudest moments in their lifetime. And I think that made an impression on our students as well.
Normally we focus on what we want and what we need. We don't really focus on what these people did for us, and to see like what all they've done, it just was really like to look back and reflect on it. It was really cool.